Hi, and welcome to Stamp with Jini. Today I'm going to share with you this fun little post-it note holder that I've created using the Spooky Halloween stamp set. So let me set this aside and I'll show you how to get started. Okay, I'm going to start by scoring. I'm going to bring my stylus in here and I'm going to score it 3 1/8, 3 1/2, and 3 7/8. And then I'm done with my scoreboard. I'm going to fold on each one of these lines, creating an accordion or going back and forth like so. I'm burnishing well, and then I'm going to bring in my paper snips. I'm going to open this up and I'm going to cut about a 1/2 inch up from the bottom to where that last score line is, and then again about a 1/2 inch away. Once I have that done, I'm going to apply some adhesive, and I'm going to not include this center section here. So I'm going to push that out slightly so I can see it. I'm going to bring in my tear and tape. I'm going to place one strip here on the top and another here on the bottom. I'm going to burnish well so I can remove that easily and pull up the tape. At this point, I'm simply going to fold that score line down and adhere. When I open my cover, it'll look like this, and I can take my finger and pop out the scored area that will hold my pen. Like so. And it looks like I didn't snip all the way to the score line, so I'm going to simply take my paper snip and do that again quickly to give me a better fold. There we go. I've got that finished and I'm ready to move on to my stamping. Now I've got a nice bold sentiment here and some solid ears on my pup, so I'm going to take my Versamark and ink those stamps up first. This is a little trick for getting a nice coverage of ink on those solid sections of your image. I'm going to ink up and stamp 1, 2, 3. There we go, beautiful image there. And then I'm going to bring my Post-it notes in here. I found this fun Granny Apple Green 3x3 pad that I thought would be perfect for this, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment on the top of that so when they open it they've got this sweet little message. And I can also sign this if I want to. Okay, I've got my little guy here and I'm going to start coloring. I'm going to pick up my dark Granny Apple and I'm going to go over the outlines on his face and around the different areas. Just simply doing a quick outline with the dark. This will add a little bit of depth to my guy. And I'm going to do the bolts on his neck also. Once I have that done, I can bring in my light and finish. I've got his face finished and I'm going to work on the little sucker here. I'm going to bring in my light and color my little sucker. And then I'm going to use a very light touch and I'm simply going to add some of the light pumpkin pie here to create a swirl on that sucker. I'm going to take my dark pumpkin pie and I'm going to do the outline on his shirt and color it in. Next I'm going to bring the light petunia and color in his sleeves, the dark petunia, And I'm going to do a little bit here on his pants, just in case my punch goes a little farther down. Okay, I've got my puppy done and I'm ready to punch him out, so I'm going to bring in my circle punch here, line him up, and punch. I'm ready to assemble now, so I'm going to layer my little puppy onto the circle and my designer series paper onto the mat here. This is a tight fit because there's only 1/8 of an inch that goes around, so make sure that you're lining it up on the right side. The measurements are very close. Now that I have that done, I'm ready to add it to the front of my Post-it note holder here, and as you can see, once again the measurements are very close, so you need to make sure you're in the right orientation. And then I'm going to take my little puppy and I'm going to add him to the front. Now I'm not using dimensionals for this. You could if you wanted to, but I want the top of this fairly flat so that it doesn't catch things as it opens and closes. I'm going to add my Post-it note here with a piece of tear and tape, like so, on the top and the bottom. Burnish and remove. I'm going to make sure I've got it in the right orientation and add my Post-it notes on the inside. This has got a tight fit here, so make sure that you are in the center. And then I can fold my cover closed and I can pop out this little divot. Let's see. From the inside is probably easier. I'm going to take my bone folder, pop it out, and slide in my gel pen. There we go. I've got this adorable little Post-it note holder with the puppy using the Spooky Halloween stamp set. And of course when you open it, you've got this beautiful coordinating Post-it note with a lovely little message for someone special. I hope you've enjoyed this project, and of course if you'd like any of these products, feel free to stop by my online store. You can get there from my blog, Stamp with Jini. Thanks for joining me.